We see Parasite fight some kind of shapeshifter guy in the middle of the street, and as onlookers pass by, the fight ends with Parasite frying the shapeshifter's head. Suddenly, Batman shows up on the scene and attacks Parasite, but he absorbs most of the blows and redirects them back to Batman. Batman informs Martian Manhunter that he needs reinforcements. Martian Manhunter calls Superman, who is in the middle of saving a crashing plane full of people. Superman goes to help after rescuing the plane, but it is already too late. Captain Marvel apprehended the parasite, and the heroes are praising him. He introduces himself to Superman, but is as awkward as it gets, because Superman is his role model, and Superman is suspicious of his being. The press corner Captain Marvel and ask him some questions about joining the League. He goes on a tangent about Lex Luthor running for president, which he thinks is a good thing before getting flustered and flying away. We then see him hear a school bell ring, and he yells Shazam to transform back to his original form, a little kid. A while later, we see Captain Marvel back on the Justice League space station in his superhero form, walking around all excited and giddy. Superman cuts his party short and calls him to a meeting with the core Justice League members, then berates him about how his words got turned into an endorsement for Lex Luthor in the newspaper, which is dangerous, because the League should always be impartial and never get involved in selling products or playing favorites in politics. Captain Marvel gets visibly frustrated at that, but pulls back after realizing he went overboard. Superman then orders him to never make public statements without running them past the League first. Superman and Captain Marvel then watch an interview with Lex Luthor, who talks about building a new city for low-income Americans and taking Captain Marvel's words as endorsement of him and a chance to redeem himself, just like they accepted Hawkgirl back into the League. Lex Luthor then announces an open house charity event and invites Superman to attend, who is visibly not pleased with what is going on at the moment. We then cut to Superman and Batman beating some suckers up as they talk about Captain Marvel and how the League seemingly likes him, but Superman doesn't get it. Batman bluntly informs him that he is very much like a young Superman before Professor Hamilton calls both of them to his lab for an emergency. The duo arrive and Hamilton informs them that 4 pounds of weapons-grade kryptonite were stolen from the lab. Batman investigates and finds that the lock was nanopicked by LexCorp technology. Superman jumps to conclusions about it being Lex Luthor himself, but Batman is not convinced and advises Superman to go to the charity, even to keep an eye on him, while he continues to investigate. Superman goes to the charity event and overhears Lex Luthor talking about a device being planted and how his escape route is secured, so he starts looking for it with his X-ray vision. Superman finds the device planted right under the kids' play area, and he evacuates the place immediately. Captain Marvel happens to be present as a kid at the charity event, and he transforms in the middle of the commotion. Captain Marvel flies to Superman as he prepares to dig deep to the device, and Lex Luthor stops him by stating how it is an experimental fusion core that could create free energy for everyone, and it uses kryptonite. Superman asks him why he couldn't tell him about that, and Lex Luthor states that he was afraid he wouldn't believe him. But no explanation for the escape route at all, by the way. Superman thinks this is bullshit and pushes him and Captain Marvel away to get to the device, but Captain Marvel stops him and they fight. Their fight is so destructive as they throw buses around and level buildings left and right, shades of Man of Steel levels of destruction. Superman destroys Captain Marvel, but the Captain has one trick up his sleeve, and he holds Superman in place while he yells Shazam as a magical lightning strike hurts Superman. Superman, however, outsmarts him and turns it against him, transforming him back to a kid and revealing his identity to Superman as he shuts him up and defuses the device at the last second. In the aftermath, Adam reveals that Luthor was actually honest about the device being used for free energy. Superman apologizes, but Luthor understandably states how it is his fault he didn't inform Superman first about the surprise free energy project, and that he won't accept any help with the damages because it is on him. And I am sorry, but I don't trust this sleazy piece of shit at all. Back on the Justice League space station, Captain Marvel calls a meeting with the core members and announces that he quits the Justice League because they are not acting like heroes anymore. Superman seems to accept the sentiment, but Batman tells him point blank that he was set up by Cadmus. We then see the sleazy piece of shit Lex Luthor celebrating his plan going well with none other than Amanda Waller. The next episode starts with Green Lantern on the Justice League space station getting snatched by his girlfriend Vixen. Vixen tells John that he has been neglecting her and they haven't gotten out in a month, and so he agrees to date in China when he finishes his shift. Vixen tries to kiss him and flirt with him, but he is straight up ignoring her and telling her it is unprofessional. Meanwhile, Martian Manhunter gets a distress call from a mining ship stranded on a rock full of unidentified metals that are having a weird reaction. Martian Manhunter calls for Hawkgirl, and she identifies the metal as the nth metal the Thanagarians use for their weapons and armor. Hawkgirl prepares herself to go and rescue the ship, but Martian Manhunter refuses to let her go without support. Green Lantern offers his help, but Martian Manhunter refuses, and Vixen jumps on the opportunity to be with Hawkgirl instead of Green Lantern. Green Lantern is frustrated, but Martian Manhunter doesn't care. It is then revealed that the person behind the distress call was Hawkman's commander, Perrin Dahl, and she is setting up a trap. Hawkgirl, Vigilante, and Vixen reach their destination, but they are not detecting any nth metal, or anyone for that matter. They go out to investigate and get attacked. They try to go back to the ship, but it gets destroyed before they can reach it. Hawkgirl is surprised as the Thanagarians and Perrin Dahl reveal themselves. Dahl confronts Hawkgirl about betraying the Thanagarians and how it led to them losing the war to the Gordanians, with Hawkman sacrificing himself to save his last few soldiers and let them escape while he destroys the Gordanians' flagship. Hawkgirl is distraught at the information. Dahl only wants Hawkgirl, but her team refuses to turn their back on her when she needs them, so they escape together to come up with a plan. The Thanagarians think they are wasting their time when they should be fighting with the Resistance, but Dahl refuses to leave until they punish the traitor Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl, on the other hand, refuses to hurt them, leading the team to believe that she is still loyal to them. Hawkgirl explains that she just feels for them, and Vigilante makes his case clear that he doesn't care about them. Hawkgirl then tells them they don't have to follow her, and she is going to give herself up to be judged by her people, but Vixen berates her and gives her a reality check. Suddenly, the Thanagarians attack them, and Vixen saves Hawkgirl and Vigilante and allows them to escape, but she gets captured, and before they can shoot her, she promises them to give up Hawkgirl. They believe when she says she wants to get rid of her, because she wants Green Lantern all to herself, and they take her to their ship to heal her before she tracks Hawkgirl. She then reveals her actual motive and contacts the Justice League and tells them everything, but the Perrin Dahl surprises her and cuts the connection. Meanwhile, Hawkgirl is worried for Vixen and leaves Vigilante to go looking for her. Some Thanagarian tries to get the drop on the lonely Vigilante, but he traps him and starts interrogating him about the location of the spaceship. Hawkgirl surrenders herself to save Vixen, but Perrin Dahl drops her from the air, only to be saved by Vigilante, who is now manning the Thanagarian's ship. Hawkgirl escapes, and a fight breaks out with the trio coming out on top. They all return back home, and Green Lantern tries to check on them, but they both ignore him and have a girls' chat in private. As they reminisce about Green Lantern and his quirks, Vixen thinks she should see through her relationship with Green Lantern and may the best girl win in the end. Which feels like a very nonsensical way to deal about this whole love triangle thing going on. Weird vibes with the second episode covered today, and an even weirder development to the whole relationship between Green Lantern, Vixen, and Hawkgirl. The first episode was very cool. However, with Shazam and his fight against Superman, with its development being exciting for the future of the overarching plot of this season. This brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. And tell me, what do you think of these two episodes? Do you want to see Shazam more? Who do you think Green Lantern should end up with, regardless of what actually happens later on in the story? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.